Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here we have my latest eBay find. One man's trash is another man's treasure and all that. Now, this video is going to be a little bit different to the normal ones. Anyway, welcome back to Roberts & Co. I'm jeweller Barry Roberts. Welcome back to London. Now, in here is a Brother P-Touch labelling machine, and some of you might be here because you're regular viewers, others may be here because you've seen the title of this video, which will be something along the lines of Brother P-Touch labelling system, review, setup, how to save on tape, and this will be all of those things. Now, this is not a sponsored video. I did buy this myself from eBay, and I'm not affiliated with Brother or any distributors of machines or tape, but I used to be. I was a Brother P-Touch salesman. Among other things, we used to sell these to the jewellery trade, and we sold loads of them. So much so, once my boss got a free trip to Formula One Grand Prix, because I think Brother sponsor all sorts of things, but yeah, we were like the top seller of machines in the country, and he got to go on some phenomenal trips, but that's another story. But I can touch on why these were so good and still are so good and popular with the jewellery trade, but they're useful for all manner of industries and all different industries, and whether you're retailers, manufacturers, a factory, or just at home office, home workshops. They're suitable for anyone that uses labels. However, there are a few drawbacks to the machines, and I can discuss those. But the reason that the reasons these machines were so popular with the jewelry industry was the tape, and in particular the glue or the adhesive on the tapes. Now, I think I first started flogging these in the late 90s, and back then it was the predecessor of the current tape system. And I think there was I can't remember too much about them, but what the letter designation of them was, but from memory there was like a retail version and an industrial version, and then they combined the two to come up with the current system, which has been available for probably the best part of 20 years, give or take. I lose track of the time over that time frame. But yeah, they combined the two, and then there was one tape system, and it's available in different heights, but I think all of the tapes are about 8 meters long. You used to be able to buy the reason I have had to buy this, I had a machine before, and I think I got it from the middle of Lidl, and you could buy the machines really inexpensively. I think they were like 10 or 15 pounds, but they came with a tape, and the tape was the tape they came with the machine was 1 meter long. So they gave you the machine, but you then pretty quickly had to go out. They got you on the tape. You had to go out and buy a tape. But the standard tapes, I've got them here from my last machine, are 8 meters long. These TZ tapes. 12mm black on white is the main one I use, but I've also got white on black. But you can get yellow, red. I can't sit and list all the sizes and colour variations, there's loads, but different machines will take different maximum heights of tape. My previous machine, I lent it to a friend. It was really small. I lent it to a friend to do some work on a vintage car, and he dropped it in a bucket of oil, or the tub of oil, old engine oil. It still turned on, believe it or not, but it didn't print, so he offered to buy me a new one, and that's where this one comes in. But yeah, I first became aware of these when I started selling them in the 90s. We sold a lot of them. The tapes are phenomenal, and I've been using them ever since. And even when we were selling them, we used a lot of them, mainly to write rude words and stick them on each other's back, which was and still is great fun. It was a long time ago. Kind of things we were writing probably be considered, it would be a sackable. But back then, what was considered good fun would now be instant dismissal. But we need to do a number of things here. I'm going to unbox this. I bought this off eBay, so I'm hoping eBay expectations versus reality. Let's hope I've got what I bought. I did pay. You can buy one of these new for less than £30. The machine on Amazon. I paid more than £30 for this. I'm always paying too much for stuff on eBay, but the reason I bought this one is it came in a case. This is an old machine, it's probably at least 10 years. This model's probably been around 10, 15 years, something like that. I seem to remember this from back in the day when I was a P-Touch salesman. So this is probably 15 years old at least. vintage in consumer electronic terms. The reason I did buy this instead of a new one on Amazon, it's got a plastic case which survived this very basic packing job that the seller did, just wrapped it in brown paper. It comes in a carry case, which means I'll be able to keep the machine and the spare tapes I've got and the mains adapter. Hopefully there's a mains adapter in here, because the last one I had was battery powered, and a lot of the 30 odd pound ones on Amazon are battery powered. I'm not sure, I didn't research it too much. I'm not sure if you can get power adapters for them, but if you're going to get one, I would recommend power adapters because they take a lot of batteries. I think the last one I had took 6 or 8 AA batteries. They're quite battery hungry for 2 reasons. They seem to consume, mine have always seemed to consume quite a lot of battery, but I don't use them very frequently. I tend to use it quite a bit over a short period of time, and then I maybe won't use it for, could be months, 6 months, and that in itself seems to drain some battery power. So I just never seem to get good value for money out of batteries in them, so I wanted a mains powered one, and mains powered ones seem to be quite expensive. So I did, although this one costs, I think this cost a little bit over £30. However, if I was to try and buy an equivalent model with a case and mains thing, it would have been considerably more. What I'm going to do is I'm going to unbox this, we'll check it out, but then I'm also going to label. What I need to do is I use this for labelling our stock boxes. They're not that suitable for labelling individual pieces of jewellery. I label our stock boxes, so as you can see that's one of the labels there. And then inside all the different sizes, this is rings, all the different ring sizes are labelled here. I need to do one of these for nose rings, believe it or not. So I need to label, I've got a wooden box there which is empty at the moment, but I need to fill that. So I'm going to label the outside and then label all of the compartments inside. It's quite a lot of labelling. So we'll do that, and when I'm doing that, I'll show you one of the best ways to save on tape, and it's not changing the margin, which you can do, but it still doesn't save that much tape. I'll show you how we used to when I was selling them, and how we still do, the best way to save on tape. First of all, let's unbox it and see if I've actually got what I was sold. So, welcome fellow organisers and enthusiasts of efficiency to the unboxing of a Brother P-Touch 1850 labelling machine. This classic find from eBay, where it captured our attention, and winning bid of £32.99 delivered. Remarkably, its condition defies the years it's weathered, showcasing the renowned durability and craftsmanship of Brother products. As we delve into the unboxing, anticipation fills the air. Each layer of packaging removed, each piece of wrapping unfolded, unveils a piece of history. A tool that has simplified organisations for countless individuals and businesses alike. And here it is, cradled in its original storage box, the Brother P-Touch 1850. It greets us with a familiar yet awe-inspiring presence. The Brother P-Touch series, known for its reliability and high quality output, has been a go-to for labelling needs across the globe, and this machine is a proud member of that lineage. With eager hands, we connect the machine to its power source, curious to see if the passage of time has left its mark. To our delight, the machine powers on smoothly, its display lighting up with a welcome. The absence of any noise, save for the soft click of buttons, is a testament to the machine's efficient design and operation. However, we encounter a small hiccup. The tape cartridge, ready for action, is found to be empty, but fear not, we've come prepared with spare tapes from its predecessors, highlighting the P-Touch series' user-friendly and interchangeable nature. With a quick swap, we're ready to proceed. So the anticipation builds as we input the first label. The machine responds with precision, its keys familiar and responsive under our fingers. The label emerges sharp and clear, a perfect embodiment of what the P-Touch series stands for. Ease of use, reliability and crisp printing, all combined within a timeless design. The P-Touch 1850 is a marvel of Brothers' ingenuity and label technology, offering a variety of tape colours, sizes and types to suit any need. From the rugged laminated labels that withstand extreme conditions to the simple non-laminated tapes for indoor use, the versatility of the P-Touch system is unmatched. Our journey today with the P-Touch 1850 reaffirms its invaluable role in our organisational toolkit. Whether it's for meticulously labelling our precious Robertson Co jewellery stock, or bringing order to everyday office essentials, this machine is poised to become an indispensable ally. As we wrap up the unboxing and first test run, the Brother P-Touch 1850 transcends its role as a mere purchase. It stands as a testament to the enduring appeal of well-crafted tools and a bridge to a more organised, efficient world. Okay, the Brother P-Touch 1850. I'm actually pretty pleased with my latest eBay purchase. The box, the storage case, is a little bit tatty and one of the tabs that holds it closed is missing. However, with just the one, it's quite a sturdy box and it seems to stay shut. It will store about 4 or 5 tapes, I think 4 in the little tape section, and obviously you can store 1 in the machine. Now, it did come with a tape, but it's completely used up. The machine itself, pristine condition. Looks as good as new. So yeah, the box is tatty. The machine itself, which is the main thing, doesn't look like it's ever had a battery in it, and it's even got, it is in mint condition, pristine condition. It's even still got the protective covers on the clear screen there. There would have been one there. Yeah, it's still on there. Works. We've printed our little hello label. Now, yeah, great. Mains adapter, fantastic, it's all working, so great value for money, $32.99. Now, if you're watching this and you're thinking, and you're wondering whether to buy one of these or not, I definitely recommend the Brother P-Touch machines, but I don't think the machine itself matters, it's the tape. And the reason I say that, I'm pretty confident this is a model I probably used to sell back in my day as a P-Touch salesman. They used to bring out new machines all the time. I reckon they brought out a whole new collection once a year. It was ridiculous. And the upgrades, when you couldn't tell one from the next. But I think this was one of the better this was one of my favourite generations. It was just before they went to PC compatibility. And at the time, I think the ones before this were a little bit less responsive. You pushed a button on the key and it took a while to come up on the screen and the printing took longer. I think this was like I think by this point they really were doing a really phenomenal job of making it. Yeah, made in China. They were doing a phenomenal job of making these. After this, then I saw a model after this, the 1950, and it looks identical except it's got a USB port on the side. So that is the model after this. There might have been some overlap, but certainly the model directly after this, they were switching to PC compatibility and the auto cutting feature. And nothing wrong with the PC models. I guess the reason I quite like these is familiarity. I just like the idea of they're not mechanical, but just a standalone, non-connected device. They feel almost mechanical. They're not, but yeah, a non-connected device. Familiarity and a sense of nostalgia, which the PC connected ones definitely don't have. But yeah, at some point I'll probably be forced to get a PC connected one, and I wonder why I didn't get one sooner. But for now, I just like the idea of having a standalone labelling machine. But the reason I say I don't think the machine is important, this one's probably 15 years old. and I only use the basic functionality. I don't even bother changing the font most of the time or the size, just so I can't use the. You can change the font and the size. You can do mirror printing, I think, with this one. I'm pretty confident you can. It's hard to. They have all these above the buttons. You've got this code. Is it? Yeah, code, and then Alt and Shift. So yeah, to get the blue functionality above the button, you push the blue button there, and then to get the yellow function on the button, you push the Alt yellow key. And yeah, once you get the hang of them, they make sense, but until you've got the hang of it, they make no sense whatsoever. So yeah, PC connectivity ones might be slightly easier to use. There's probably some stuff in this little function thing here. But anyway, I'm rambling now. The reason I say the machine's not that important is because the main reason I like these, and I think the main reason the jewellery trade liked these, was the tapes. And the adhesive on the tapes. Now you could probably stick this on the outside of a shop window, rain, shine, sunshine. You could probably wash the window and it wouldn't wipe off. It'd stay there for days. You could put them on you could use the clear tape and the mirror function, so you could stick it on the inside of either a window or a display case, and it could be read from the outside. And again, it didn't peel off under the heat of halogen lights, which were very prominent in jewellery stores, in most retail stores. So yeah, the adhesive was really strong. However, not only was it really strong, when you went to remove it, it peeled off. When you went to peel it off, it peeled off quite easily, and it left almost, I want to say almost, not none, but you can see there's that the residue is almost non-existent. I mean, it's a quick wipe with your hand or a cloth, and it's gone. On a window. No, sorry. Now you can get more industrial. These are supposedly waterproof and chemical proof, and you can get industrial tapes that are even more chemical and waterproof. But the other feature of it was it could stick on quite awkward, what would be quite awkward surfaces for other labelling systems. So that's a velvet gift bag, and it sticks on there. And again, you could do it with, obviously in jewelry industry they would have displays made out of quite soft fabrics, and quite often and quite awkward fabrics, velvet, leather, silk. And I mean, you'd have to test it out before you put it on your priceless silks. Don't take my word for it, it won't destroy them. It probably could, but in most instances it wouldn't mark them badly. So yeah, you could stick it on there, it would stick quite firmly. You could put it under lights and whatever. I mean, obviously this wouldn't be under anything other than warm conditions. And then it peeled off. Again, very little in the way of residue. You'd never know it was there. So that was why these were so popular with the jewellery trade. It wasn't necessarily the machine. They changed the machines all the time. It was the tape, and more importantly, the adhesive that definitely removed. That's not sticking too well. No, that's definitely removed some of the fluff or the fuzz. But again, it is still sticking. The only thing with it was when you peeled them, I wouldn't describe them as reusable, because if you can see there, the corner where I've peeled it, it kind of wrinkles a little bit. So they are to some extent reusable, but I wouldn't describe them as reusable labels. You might get one or two uses out. You could certainly reposition them quite effectively. But the more times you use them, they diminish the adhesive, the effectiveness of the adhesive, and you do end up with these little wrinkled corners. It does come with like this little tool, which was supposed to help application and removal. No, oh look, there's a little thing there. I don't think that's as effective as fingers and thumbs, but it's there if you want to use it. They probably, the previous owners probably never even knew that was there, but it's there. It's probably been there forever. To remove the tapes, super simple. no, out, in. And just press it in, you're ready to go. Now this model was probably, in its day, would have probably been probably closer to the top end model than the bottom end, although this only does up to 18mm high tape, so there would have certainly been a model, if not a whole tier of models above this one that did the larger height, 24, potentially 36mm high tapes. But yeah, for a consumer unit, this would have been probably quite close to, it would have been closer to the high end than the bottom. The bottom range ones tended to be the narrow handheld models. So what everyone complained about on these, and probably still does to this day, is that gap between the print and the cut. It's quite, as you can see, it's quite the waste of tape. And tape, the tapes are only 8 meters long. They're relatively expensive. There's a price per meter on these, probably over £1. So what that gap is, the print head is obviously there where that part of the tape is, and the cutter is there. So that gap is the distance between the print head and the cutter. It's that gap there, whatever that is in millimeters. And unfortunately, it's unavoidable. It's part of the design. There is something you can do with the machine settings on some of the machines, changing the margins, and it will only do it on one edge, but you still will end up with one end having that gap. There is one way to significantly reduce that and reduce wastage. And obviously when I was selling these, we used to tell it to everyone. It's what we did, and we used to tell it to everyone. They didn't think it was a very good solution at the time when we were telling them, because it's not an inbuilt solution to the machine. However, once they did it, and Carrot continues to do it, they stopped moaning about wasting tapes. It just became became part of the process, part of their habit, and they didn't. It's just a way of working with the machine to maximise the amount of print and minimise the amount of waste. And that is, get a pair of scissors, print what you want to do in batches, and then manually cut. So you'll print so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you, we're going to label up this box. I'm going to show you, I'm going to print, I might even actually get to the buffer. Like there's a certain amount you can print. I might do, I might not. So yeah, I think it would it's less than a meter, I think. It might be about a meter, like it will only print a certain amount and then it will stop, it will buffer and you have to start printing again. But yeah, if you've got a load of things, save your printing, do it in a batch, and then put a space between put a space between the different things. Oh, we're going to do it now. So then you put a space and you just get a pair of sharp, cut, boom, and then create your own labels. You'll still have that. You will still have that waste, but you might have, if you're doing, instead of, if you're doing 10 or 20 things, it's 10 or 20 less of those gaps. Right, let's do some labeling. Okay, here's our labelled box, nose rings 925. 925 is sterling silver, and we've labelled all our compartments with the sizes we need. I used about a metre's worth of tape, and it took 3 goes. So with each batch there were that amount of offcuts. So that times 3, minimal wastage doing them in batches. It's one of my top tips if you're going to use one of these to avoid tape waste. Batch your label printing if you can. Pretty pleased with my eBay finds. This is quite an old machine, but it's in pristine condition. I've been using the Brother P-Touch systems, as I said earlier, for over 20 years. The TZ tapes, since they came out, since they replaced the predecessor, definitely recommend them. I don't think the machine makes that much difference. They constantly bring out new ones, and apart from finding one slightly more intuitive to use than another, the results are very similar. Some of them have different functions and features, but as long as it will take the size tape, the height tape you want to use, I very rarely use anywhere near all of the functions. I pretty much use it almost always, unless I need to reduce the size of the text to fit in a particular, the only time I mess with the default font and text size is if I wanted to write something slightly longer in one of these holes. So I would have, if there were more characters, I might need to reduce the height and overall size of the text, maybe multi-line to fit in the gap I need, but most of the time I'm just using the default settings. But there are quite a lot of possibilities. So if you needed to put more information in each one of these, it is possible to reduce the size of the printing, the text, and do multi-line. It is an option. And I think with the PC connected ones, they make a lot of sense, because there's even more functionality. However, I just like the idea of having a labelling machine. It is the idea and the familiarity and I guess the nostalgia of having an actual handheld machine. Although when I say handheld, I would recommend going mains over battery. Although if I need to go somewhere where I don't have access to mains power, battery's an option. If I want to take it to the pub and write rude words and stick them on my mate's back, because of the amazing adhesive on the labels, it doesn't matter what they're wearing. Be wearing a fleece, a t-shirt, we can stick rude words on anything. So yeah, definitely recommend that. The system, not sticking stuff on your mate's backs. The PC ones probably make a lot more sense than these old handheld ones, but yeah, although my mate needed handheld in his garage, but if I'd have given him a mains powered one, he probably wouldn't have ended up knocking it off the car and into a bucket of oil. So if mains is even an option, I recommend it, because it tethers it to something and gives you less likelihood of damaging it. But also, I just think these labels are, compared to my handwriting, a lot more legible, and certainly if it's customer facing, look a lot more professional. So whatever industry you're in, I mean, especially the jewelry trade, but you know, even if you're an electrician labelling a fuse board, I think my electrician put very expensive fuse board in and then he's used masking tape and a pencil and written some stuff that's barely legible. And my handwriting is terrible. But if you've got artistic handwriting, then by all means, but my handwriting looks more autistic than artistic. So yeah, if I had colleagues and I'd handwritten all of them, there would be mistakes, because they'd probably not tell the difference between 0.6 and 0.8 on some of them. So there are definitely advantages to using these labelling systems. I mean, some people can't even read their own. I mean, I'm guilty of that. Sometimes I can't even read my own handwriting, let alone some other people's. So yeah, looks professional, and very legible. Not the cheapest option when it comes to labels, but if your handwriting's not readable, then it saves some mistakes. It might be cost effective. So yeah, happy with my new purchase. I've been happy with this system for years. So anyway, I hope you found a little look at the my latest eBay purchase and the Brother P-Touch labelling system. And like I said multiple times, recommend it. Toodles.